Welcome to XAI. We are a community who are concerned about the future of AI and its potential impact on humanity.
Today we're going to ask a few questions around AI, and these questions are aimed to explore a range of perspectives from personal experiences to broader considerations around AI, its social impact, ethics and future developments. So I'm really pleased today that Florence, who is my daughter, is going to answer a few questions because she's aware of what I'm involved in. She's obviously been in the creative industries as well. So just a quick question. First question, Florence, is how would you describe your personal experience with AI technologies in terms of any daily interactions or any applications that you've used or encountered? What's your experience of it so far?
As a consumer, I don't see too much. I think it's not really broken into the world of TikTok yet. I have seen a couple of videos that have either been AI generated or have had AI in some way like supported a TikTok video. But I have noticed on platforms like TikTok and Instagram that they sometimes include that it's been AI generated in the caption, which I think is really good that there's the transparency there that things have been made using AI. In terms of personal use, I have used it a couple of times. For example, ChatGPT. I've used that to help me make social posts. So I haven't outright just put it into ChatGPT and then taken that. I've just used it sort of like a prompt and to give me ideas. So I'll say, write me a post about this. And usually it's a bit crap. So I'll just take the best parts of it and then add my own flair. Sometimes I use it for hashtags, but even that is a bit terrible sometimes. So I don't think it's quite there yet in terms of what I need it for, but I have used it occasionally to support my social media role.
Brilliant, that's really good, thank you for that. So talking about the awareness of artificial intelligence and its impact, do you believe it's impacted your life and influenced your life as it stands? Or are there any instances where you've noticed its impact, positive or negative, within your field of being a social influencer?
I think it can be seen both ways. I think there can be negative and positive impacts. I think right now it's not penetrated the field enough for me to notice yet. I think I do notice it occasionally and it doesn't really have... I'm kind of on the fence about it. It's not impacted me meaningfully in any way yet. I think it could have a negative effect if it comes to things like influencers and content creators using AI to create their content and then it's no longer authentic or real or coming from their own imagination and ideas. And I think that's where it can be a bit like, oh, like I followed this creator because I liked what they're about and now it's a computer generating it for them. But I also think it can have a positive effect in terms of just helping people within their roles and making things more accessible, making workflows quicker. But I think in the end for me, depending on whether it has a positive or a negative impact, it has to do with the transparency of people using it and admitting that they're using it for certain things rather than withholding the fact that they've used AI. So if they use AI, fine, but let me know that you've used it. And if you don't, then that's also fine.
Okay, thank you for that. Regarding some ethical considerations, as AI continues to evolve, what ethical concerns do you have or other people have that you know regarding its use in personal and professional settings?
I feel like it could be used to trick people. So, you can get fake reviews, you can get fake anything. And that's harder to make without AI. There'll be a lot of editing involved. There'll be people having to write the scripts. Whereas, if you're a business and you're like, oh, we have so many bad reviews, maybe we could get AI to generate a video for us. Then I think eventually AI will be clever enough to do that. And then it's like, who do we believe? So I think, again, it comes down to transparency and there being either a law or something.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, that's good. We'll move on. So, from an education perspective, because of the rapid advancements of AI, do you feel adequately prepared with your knowledge and skills to navigate AI going forward in life, work, and society? Do you feel ready for it, or education?
I don't know anything about it.
That's fine. You don't need to say any more. Do you think that from an education perspective we need to start teaching it very, very quickly?
I don't think it's a matter of teaching it. I think it's just a matter of making people aware that it exists and how it can exist. Because when I think of AI, I just think of it from what I've learned in my industry is that it can write a social media post for me. But then obviously now it's advancing with things like Photoshop and Canva, where you can tell it to make an image and it'll make an image for you. And then it could also be used more dangerously. It can be used to like make things that are fake. And I think even just letting people know that that's like that can happen now, people can be more aware and watch out for it. I think if people are completely unaware that those things are possible, then they'll see something and they might believe that it's, you know, human generated.
Like deep fakes, the video that I did earlier on TikTok.
Yeah. So I think it's just more about making people aware that there's possibilities that AI can penetrate absolutely anything.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. I know you've talked about potential benefits and potential risks, so we'll not get too much onto those. But just from a broader society perspective, just maybe can you think of maybe a couple of really big benefits to AI and a couple of real negatives to AI in the coming months and years? I'm just wondering, just be curious to know what people's thoughts are, because again, it is that education and awareness. A lot of people don't even know that it's used in developing cancer treatment drugs, that it's used in deepfakes. You know, what from your perspective, what do you think a couple of really dangerous things are and a couple of really good things are?
Again, like I don't know too much about AI and its capabilities, but like with any sort of technology, it gets more and more clever. I think, yeah, like you said, things like medicine, just offering people more support and aid, which can take a lot of work, time and effort and money from humans to do. I think AI could step into that role and help us find treatments easier. It can help people in like their day-to-day lives, even if it's like AI helping you with your finances. I think it could help in terms of time and money spent on these things. In terms of dangerous things, it could be very dangerous for politics. I think that could have a very negative effect on people and people using AI to maybe cause a bit of an uproar for certain political parties. I think it could be dangerous in terms of all the negative things in the world just getting a lot worse, because AI is very intelligent and it'll continue to get more intelligent. So if it gets in the wrong hands, then it can potentially be a very bad situation.
Okay, thank you for that. There's only a couple of questions left, just very quickly. One of the things is, in terms of government and regulatory oversight, do you think there's enough being done by the governments and tech companies to help control what's going on at the moment?
I've not seen too much around people doing anything. The only thing that I've noticed, like I mentioned before, is the platforms themselves having that label at the bottom of the videos saying whether it has been AI generated or not. I think it's very similar. I think the way that it could be done is for it to be similar to how people have to disclose that a video is now an ad. And if you do that, then you kind of break these regulations. So I think there could be something in place where, you know, you absolutely have to say that it's AI generated, and then if you don't, you're not complying with the laws and regulations.
And that's from a specific kind of marketing perspective, because that's your industry. Okay, that's great. Just what about impact on employment then? How do you think that's going to impact, you know, maybe in 5 years' time, your kind of role being an influencer and content creator? I mean, you've already touched upon a lot of it, to be fair, but can you see it replacing jobs?
I think it could replace certain jobs. You know, there's always going to be human error, but I think there can also be computer error in certain industries. I do think that eventually AI will replace a lot of jobs, but I think that might be for the better. Again, in terms of time and money and effort, just more efficient. But then I think there's also certain things where AI can't replace it, where it's more about human to human connection. So, for example, my mum, she does pottery classes. AI can't replace people experiencing that. So I think it's going to penetrate some industries, and then some industries it won't be able to, because it's more about that humanness of certain things.
No, that's great. The final question really is about the long-term vision, looking ahead, and the role of AI evolving over the next decade, and what steps should be taken to ensure that it's beneficial and equitable, as in fair to both sides. You know, if we've got AI that's starting to think and become sentient, it's almost like a living thing. But equally, as humans, we obviously are living things. How in 10 years' time, what do you think we need to do as a society, global society, to make sure that it's fair for both? Just some kind of crazy random idea, but how could we make that so that you can live happily side by side? Because it's coming, is my guess. What would you do to try and make sure it's fair for everything, for people?
I think there'll just have to be laws and regulations put in place to ensure that AI doesn't overtake and penetrate our lives too much. I think it can be beneficial, but we don't want it to completely take over. I think even now, not with AI but with technology, it's advanced so much in the last 10 years and it is taking over people's lives. So I think it's just about some sort of agreement that we can control it a bit more and value the fact that we are human and we have these human experiences and humans are in all these different industries, and valuing that and trying not to let computers or AI take over that by having boundaries and laws and regulations put in place so it doesn't overstep into a world that's completely tech and AI, because that's kind of a terrible place to live.
Okay, brilliant. Well, thanks for those insights and your views on AI. I know personally that you don't use it tons and that you're not fully aware of everything, but I think you've given us some really good insight there. So thanks very much, Florence.
No problem.